104.5, the team, your home for New York Yankees baseball. Right now we're going to the man who has covered the Cleveland Indians for the Lake County News Herald and Burning River Baseball. Justin Lada joins us. Justin Lada, let me just ask you, at what point during last night's game did you feel like the Indians should just call up and concede the next series?
Probably about the point where Joe Girardi went to the bullpen and then to get 26 outs, or was it 26 or 27? I don't even know if Severino got an out. But when that worked out, I would say it's like, wow, okay, that's pretty dangerous. That's pretty scary that they could not get an out from their starter, one out, and still win running away.
So wait, so you're saying that the Yankees are going to beat the Indians?
No. I'm just saying that was pretty. I
was about to run around
pretty
the studio.
Alarming. I will not cop to that. I will not admit to that. But that was pretty jarring that worked out. And if I were the Indians, I would look at that and say, "Wow, we've got to play really well in the first inning."
Take me through your emotions as an Indian fan. I watched Levack and other Yankee fans going wild back and forth during the game, keeping their calm for most of it. But I have a feeling you guys who are Twins, or excuse me, you guys who are Indian supporters in Cleveland wanted the Twins in that matchup, right?
I mean, theoretically, yeah. I mean, the Twins are scrappy enough to be annoying, and they can do some things that are frustrating. Plus, they've seen the Indians 19 times. But, yeah, there's no doubt you definitely wanted the Twins to win that game if you're an Indians fan, because they don't have any relief arms that scare you. They don't have enough power, and they definitely don't have enough starting pitching because they had to use both their best starters last night. So, yeah, you definitely wanted the Twins to win.
Justin Lada with us. Justin, all joking aside, yeah, the bullpen is great for the Yankees. As you're watching it from the outside perspective, and the Indians basically owned the Yankees this season, is there anything else about the team that you think is different enough that they could literally rival the Indians?
I mean, definitely the bullpen is obviously, like you said, overshadows them. Even as good as the Indians' bullpen is, I think the Yankees have better depth. I don't know if there's another spot. I mean, the Yankees' lineup is obviously pretty good. Aaron Judge takes his walks even if he's not hitting. Gary Sanchez is obviously a great hitter. And they just have a lot. I mean, Didi Gregorius is the one guy I look at. You know, if you're hitting Aaron Judge second and Sanchez third, and if you're timid to pitch to those guys and you're careful and you put them on, you know, Didi Gregorius is going to make you pay if you have to go to him. You saw that last night, but I think he's hit a couple home runs against the Indians this year. He scares the living daylights out of me as an Indians fan. And I think I don't know, maybe you guys have a better idea than I do, but I think I heard somewhere that the Yankees are a pretty good breaking ball hitting team, especially sliders. And if that's true, you know, Corey Kluber's got a great slider. Carlos Carrasco's got a great slider. Trevor Bauer's got a great curveball. The Indians have a team that won last year, even with their injured starters, that won throwing the breaking ball a ton last year. That was a great strategy for them. So if that's true, the Yankees are a good, you know, off-speed breaking ball hitting team. That kind of throws a monkey wrench into the Indians' pitching staff, and you have to rely on fastballs more. But maybe you guys have a better idea of that than I do.
Well, let's stick with that idea of the starting pitching, because I'm still trying to figure out why it is Trevor Bauer in Game 1 for Cleveland rather than Corey Kluber.
Okay, so stay with me. This is going to be long-winded. Stay with me here. So the idea here is that Kluber goes on normal rest 2 and 5, and it was apparently communicated from Francona that Kluber was, you know, wanting to go on normal rest throughout the series. So he'll be on an extra day of rest for Game 2, technically, because he pitched last Saturday. But in series, he would be on normal rest if there's a Game 5, which was important. Now, to me, Corey Kluber is the best pitcher in the American League. And if he says that he is best positioned to win you 2 games on normal rest in the first round, you absolutely have to go with what you think is going to be putting him in the best position to win you 2 games, because then you only have to win 1 non-Kluber start. Number 2, Trevor Bauer can go in Game 1, and if the Indians need to go to Andrew Miller, to Mike Clevenger, to Danny Salazar, to whoever in the bullpen early, they can, with the idea that Corey Kluber's pitching Game 2, can give you 7 innings and kind of help mitigate any extra work the bullpen's got to do in Game 1. Now, saying that, he could do the same thing in Game 1, where if he goes 7 innings in Game 1, the bullpen doesn't have a ton of work and can go in Game 2 in relief with Bauer. But I think they like the idea of being able to snuff out any issues in Game 1 with the bullpen, potentially win that game, and then have your ace going Game 2. So it's a little risky, could blow up in their face. but there's some logic behind it. And like I said, I think the comfort factor of if Kluber feels like he's best suited to win you 2 games and it's 2-5 on normal rest, you do that. Now, the forecast for Friday sucks. It looks like it's going to rain. The game's at 5 o'clock. If it rains Friday and Kluber goes 2 innings and there's a big rain delay and he can't come back after the rain delay, they're absolutely screwed in that situation. And if it's a rain out and Game 2 ends up being on Saturday, then he's on short rest for Game 5 anyway, and you're screwed that way. So it's a huge risk with the weather. Other than that, there's a ton of logic behind it, as long as all the games get played and there's no rain delays.
Justin,
was that long-winded enough for you?
Well, but it broke it down, though, Justin. Like you bring up a lot of great points. Justin Lada from the Lake County News Herald and Burning River Baseball. And it also, like, I almost feel like if you lose Game 1 with Kluber sitting there at Game 2, you almost feel okay about it, where the Yankees are going to be all pumped up because they took one, but can still have the momentum took away from them by Kluber. So it's almost like a coin toss. If Bauer beats the Yankees, you got house money, and versus where if the Yankees beat Bauer, you still got to beat Kluber twice. So it didn't shock me as much as it shocked everybody else.
It shocked everybody. I mean, I can tell you, number one, a lot of Indians fans on Twitter are losing their minds. I heard Chris Rose on Albany Network lost his mind on a Cleveland sports radio show this afternoon already. And I get it. I mean, Game 1, I think if you look at the stats, I think the team that wins Game 1, I think wins the series 68% of the time, which is not overwhelming, but it's not insignificant. And for the Yankees' perspective, if you come into Cleveland, you split, that's all you want, because then you got the next 2 at home if you split. So that puts them at a huge advantage, because you'd rather go on the road up 2-0 than 1-1. And if you get in a situation where you're down 2-1, the Indians are also supposedly considering starting Josh Tomlin Game 4. If you're down 2-1, that's pretty risky. There's a lot of people that feel like Josh Tomlin won't make that start Game 4 if they're down, or period. Some people are saying he won't make it, period. But, I mean, who knows? But the Yankees probably would be satisfied with a split here, even if they lose to Corey Kluber. Because, hey, then at least you've seen him once. If you lose to him in Game 2, your guys have all got a good look at him in Game 2, and you're ready for Game 5. And the interesting thing is that Aaron Judge didn't play against Corey Kluber in either start against them this year, which may or may not have been intentional, which is really long road forecasting from Joe Girardi, in which case I would love to get some lottery numbers from him.
In that batting order for the Indians, we talked about this yesterday. The Yankee then had to have a big game, and Didi ends up stepping up and being one of the big bats. Gardner, Judge. Who in the Indians lineup has to have a big series for Cleveland to get onto the ALCS?
I really can't point to one guy, just because the Indians lineup doesn't have an Aaron Judge where, you know, every time he's a threat to the ball to the ballpark. I mean, Edwin Encarnacion, I think you guys know from seeing him in Toronto, can change a game with one swing. So he's a guy you'd like to be able to hit a 3-run homer in a game or two. But it's definitely Jose Ramirez. When Jose Ramirez gets on base, when he's hitting the ball over the ballpark, and he hit 2 home runs off of Luis Severino in August in Yankee Stadium, if Jose Ramirez has a great series, I think the Indians stand a pretty good chance offensively to match the Yankees.
Now, Justin, I know that you're though you are a professional, you do have a deep love of the Indians. So I'm not going to do what everybody thinks I'm going to do and start taunting. Because but I will say I feel good about this.
Bring it on. That's not fun. Come on, I'm ready. I got all the answers to knock off your embellished points.
I just think when you see the way the baby Bombers are swinging the bats, plus the bullpen and a sneaky good starting rotation, I feel good about the Yankees' chances here.
Oh, I do too. I wanted the Yankees to win the East. I wanted Boston to play the Minnesota Twins in the wild card game, because for whatever reason, the Indians have Chris Sale's number, and they were going to have to use him in a wild card game if that happened. The Indians' rotation is way better than the Red Sox. Their bullpen is better, I think. And I don't fear the Red Sox offense the way I fear the Yankees offense, even though I think there are some holes in the Yankees lineup. Overall, there's a lot of guys that walk and get on base, and they have the power, plus they have the bullpen. The bullpen is the number one factor. And, yeah, I absolutely wanted the Yankees to win the East, because I wanted the Red Sox and Twins to play the wild card game, and obviously every Indians fan was hoping to see the Twins because it's just a better matchup.
Would it be going too far to say the winner of this series is your favorite to represent the AL in the World Series?
I don't know, because I think that if the Yankees were to win, I don't know if the Astros have enough or the Yankees have enough, because the Yankees have Severino, and he, as much as he struggled last night, I know he's a top 3, top 4 pitcher. But Verlander and Keuchel are so good. Keuchel shut them down in a wild card game 2 years ago. The Astros have a great bullpen, and the Astros have the best offense in the American League. So if the Indians don't advance, I think they're going to run into a rough road with the Astros. I think it's the Indians or the Astros going to the World Series. Or, I'm sorry, the Indians or the Astros. I don't think the Yankees are going to be able to get past Houston, especially with Houston having home field advantage.
Challenge accepted. Justin, man, we appreciate you making time, and we know you're up late as well. So I look forward to hopefully talking to you during the series.
Yeah, I'm hoping for 5, because that's fun for baseball, and I want to see Corey Kluber pitch twice, and who says that a short series is bad? More baseball is always better, right?
True story, man.